Nigerian Senate has begun considering a bill to amend the Legislative Houses Powers and Privileges Act, aiming to impose tougher and more streamlined disciplinary measures for erring lawmakers. Sponsored by Senator Kaka Shehu, APC Borno Central, the bill passed its first reading on Tuesday. It proposes clearly defined penalties for misconduct, removing the need for prolonged committee investigations and ensuring discipline is swift and consistent. This development follows public debate sparked by the recent suspension and court case involving Senator Natasha Abotiodragan, PDP Kogi Central. A federal high court ruled her 6-month suspension in March unlawful, citing existing laws that limit such sanctions to 14 legislative days. The judge also fined her 5 million naira for civil contempt over a Facebook post but declined to impose a custodial sentence. If passed, the amendment could reshape how the Senate enforces discipline by standardizing penalties and reducing arbitrary suspensions. The bill is expected to go through a second reading soon, after which it will be reviewed in committee and possibly proceed to final stage. What do you make of this development, Daniel?
Yes, while first I would appreciate the fact that laws are dynamics and they are subject to change. But what is the spirit behind wanting to change a law? It's actually important to know. What is the driving force? Is it to enhance the legislative business? Is it to enhance transparency? Or is it to cow people from speaking out? And every act to try to, in the name of an institution in court, and try to cow people, I for one would not want to buy into it. But if it is in the spirit of, oh, if you do A, this is what it means. Remember, this is just coming out from after the court judgment and after several other court judgments against the Bukola Saraki-led Senate, against Ndume, that he got a judgment even far after he had even resumed back at the Senate. So I think for me, the major thing, what is the spirit driving this new amendment? We should do it in such a way. It is a gathering of elected senators from different subnationals. So it is not, for example, whatever that we want to look at it, however that we want to look at it, even if it is justifiable, why should my representation, for example, you say from a donut where I come from, why should my representation be denied for one day at the floor of the Nigerian Senate or the floor of the National Assembly? So we had to look at it. Is it a criminal case? These are not criminal cases. These are not criminals. These are honorable members. So why would you want to give a stiffer punishment to a particular person who had the privilege to represent hundreds of thousands of persons? Is it the spirit to remove that person and deny those people, or see a way to make the representation more inclusive? This is because when we do not know the spirit driving a purpose, for me, I tend to drive back to say, what are the issues? Why are we talking about sanctioning? Why are we talking about the word stiffer penalties? Why are we not talking about enhancement? Why are we not talking about finding a way where senators, House of Rep members, State House of Assembly have a way of reaching out to their constituents? I had an issue recently, about some few months ago, and I wanted to go to the National Assembly. And it was clearly told to me that I must write a petition. I cannot write a petition as Daniel and submit to the National Assembly. It is invalid. So these are the things that we are supposed to be looking at. A house that has nothing to hide is supposed to be looking at how inclusive these things should be. How are people supposed to be included in the affairs of this nation? In terms of discussions, in terms of making better laws for Nigerians. And I was in Abuja for more than 1 week. trying to submit a petition to the National Assembly about certain aspect of the institution that wronged me. And I couldn't. I had to now write my petition through Senator Adams to Shomole. And I also wrote another petition through the minority leader of the House of Rep, Honorable Chinda. I had to now write and submit. In other words, I did not submit as a person. I have given to them that they will go and submit on my behalf.
And they will choose to do that or not do that.
And that thing has been lying there for more than 3 months. And so the question for me as an individual, are we doing this amendment to enhance more inclusion? How to reach the people, how the people reach you back? How can certain things be resolved? Because you are there based on the power donated to you by your constituents. So why are we now making it to look that the day I do not like your face, these laws will be applied to you? You are there not as a person, yes, as a senator with a name, but with the mandate of a particular place, region in this country, where you are supposed to represent them, not deny you by certain persons who also came from other region to now deny my own constituents on what should be done. So I just said one, for example. Why is the Senate not looking at that? Even remember, the House of Rep is even accusing the Senate that their bills have been lying, a concord has been lying there. And we're not talking about these issues to say, how are we going to have more ways that these bills will come in and go faster? We're not talking about that. We're talking about how we are going to amend certain aspect of the law. Let's be serious here. Is even 14 days not too much to deny? If we value representation, pure representation, I'm not talking about ego-driven senators that we have. If we value true representation, 14 days is even too much to deny certain persons in this country their voices. It's just, for example, if, for example, an Honorable Chinda speaks, what it connotes is that it is not Honorable Chinda speaking. His constituents are speaking through him. Okay, now, what, you see, well, maybe as the day goes by, we'll get to know the spirit behind, because there's always a spirit behind every law.
But to a large extent, you know, this whole thing made reference to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan, saying that her suspension was declared illegal by the courts. We had discussed this in the past on this show, and I made reference to even the issue of, I think it was Omo Agege and all of that.
Yes, Omo Agege issue too.
Who have been suspended, you know, unconstitutionally, and they went to courts and they won the Senate, and that suspension was upturned by the court, and they were returned to the Senate on the ground of illegal suspension. Now, on the heels of Senator Akpoti-Oduaghan's case, right, now she has won in court, just like the others won, and she's going to be returned to the Senate. Hopefully they don't appeal that.
No, let's hope that.
Hopefully they don't appeal that. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully, but even if they appeal it, at the end of the day, right, the judgment still stands. Like, what does the House, what's the rule of the House? So why are you going against the rule of the House? Now, like you rightly said, 14 days, denying representation for 14 days appears to be too much. Now, when you deny representation for 6 months, then do not forget there is a part of the Constitution that listed a minimum number of days that you will be absent in the Legislative House. And after that, your seat will be declared vacant. So, you know, all these politics can be taken advantage of to ease someone out of the system.
Yes, that's why I said first, I would have loved to know the spirit behind this new sponsored bill by the senator from Borno State. It is quite unfortunate at the time that we're
Isn't it significant that this is coming up on the heels of the victory of Natasha Akpoti against the Senate?
No, because, you know, to put up a bill, sometimes it goes beyond several several days and all of that. Consultant needed to give input. Constitution had to be looked at. A lot of things. So I want to believe.
Can it be done in a month?
Yeah, I want to believe that it was probably maybe. This is my opinion anyway. I want to believe that it was probably while she was still in suspension that these drafters tried to do this, not because of the judgment. But that's why I said, once you know the spirit driving a bill, you will know that this bill is vengeance, is vindictive, is not for the people. So I would have loved to know. A senator representing Borno State, I thought that by now he should be clamoring for more soldiers be sent to Borno State, for certain things to be done, not to come and punish maybe Senator representing Daniel Momo. And I think that let's look for a way to have the people punish their own representative by making, for example, why are we not today know if there is a bill to support the Nigerian masses? Why do we still have what we call the voice vote? We don't need the voice vote. I want to know what my senator is saying. I want to know his opinion. I want to know what voting, where did he vote? Where was his allegiance? Like, did he consult us? So these are the things that we should be looking at bills to open up the Nigerian, or not just Senate, the National Assembly, instead of looking for a way to cow people. It is not a court. It is not a court. I do not know when I watch live the proceedings of the Nigerian Senate or the House of Representatives. Why can't we have a streaming platform that goes live? People can, at any time. You go to the National Assembly, it is what is called maximum security. In fact, I went there several days and I was thinking, at this representative, these are mini gods. If I say, for example, I want to go and observe the proceedings of the Senate today, why should I not get there and be given a chance to sit at the gallery and watch the proceedings of the Senate? You have to go through security, you have to be asked who invited you, and all of that. I spent 1 week in Abuja. Out of that 5 days, I was going to the National Assembly every day to be able to submit a mere petition.
And you couldn't do it?
I submitted at last because I was told I cannot submit a petition in my name. I had to submit a petition through a senator or a House of Rep member. And that is what I did. And I did that not knowing what my fate is. I did that and I can't reach them to ask them how far, what is the position, where are we? So I think that I would wait, patiently wait, and let's have, because when the debate starts, let's have what is the spirit driving this process.
Of course.
Then we'll be able to say, okay, whether it is vindictive or not. But I do not also think.
You think, in your opinion, from what you have said, I gather that you think that coming from a senator representing Borno,
it should be concerned about security.
Going by the crisis in Borno State, this may be misplaced priorities for him.
Absolutely, okay. Absolutely. He cannot say with clear conscience that the people of Borno asked him to sponsor this bill. Which people of the Borno State asked him to sponsor this bill? And so I want to know the spirit driving this process. Okay. Then we'll be able to have all cards on the table.
Well, in coming days, I'm sure this will also, get to second reading, and then there will be debate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We'll see who says what and who stands for what, and that to a large extent will show. But guys, when you look at the senators and the House of Rep members, I mean, a lot of them seated there. One would say, I would use Benue State, for example. The senator representing Benue State's constituencies and the House of Rep members representing Benue State as well. One would say, I have not heard a loud cry with regards to the killings in Benue State, for example, right? These are your constituents that are being killed. These are the people whom you're trusting that they will vote for you. The interesting thing I find in this thing is that I will use Ugochinyere, for example, when he was running for elections, he couldn't, it was practically impossible for elections to hold in his own constituency. And that was a problem for him much later, because I mean, to the best of my knowledge, how do you conduct election for you in another constituency? So he had that problem with one other senator, and he went to court. That person was removed, but however, you know, through certain pressures and all of that, he survived it. And interestingly, Ugo Chinyere is in the House. It's in the National Assembly. And I've not heard Ugo Chinyere for one day.
No, what you
the same man who faced insecurity during elections to a point that his car was burnt, his uncle died in the process, his house was touched as well, and all through, up until now, I have not seen Ugo Chinyere speak and condemn the actions of insecurity. I've not seen him lament or decry insecurity in Imo State, not to even mention his constituency.
No, that's the unfortunate thing. I think the last time I heard about him was when he called for a press conference about the crisis in Rivers State, as to the way forward and all of that. So I think that the Senate need to open the Nigerian Senate more for proper scrutiny, for proper constituency alliances with their senators and their House of Rep members, and give the power to the people. Because to recall a senator or a House of Rep member,
practically impossible.
It's like asking the cow to go through the eye of the needle. And so these are the issues that we needed to be addressed. It is not massaging our ego. No. 2 weeks in itself is too far to deny certain persons.
And now they are coming up with stiffer.
Let's wait and see
when they say stiffer.
I think what they're also trying to do.
Measures.
I think what they're also trying to do is to say, if somebody make an allegation that is incorrect, this is the punishment. If you do this, this is the punishment. Come on, this is not a
stiffer means that, you know, this will also,
yes,
suspension may extend beyond.
Yes, I think they are aiming to change the 14.
Probably 3 months and all of that.
Which is for me.
I genuinely hope that Nigerians, for crying out loud, should be able to speak up on this issue. But